Who was the kamikaze blonde? Was she a student?
It was probably some girl I had a math class with or something. It was I wrote songs in class instead of doing work, and that's how I got 6 yearbooks.
That's how I got 6 yearbooks.
Something in the water taught me how to crawl. Something in the water taught me how to fall. Something in my blood.
Hey, folks. Welcome back to another Something in the Water podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Uncle Dave Griffin, along with...
I'm Sean Clark, and we're here with our good friend for many years, T.W. Lott.
Howdy, y'all.
He's a musician, songwriter.
Pretend to be.
Want to call you, might as well call you a Waycrossing, but technically you're from a little community about 7 or 8 miles west of us, which used to be the county seat.
Yes, indeed.
Of Ware County. We call it Wasbur. But you spell it Waresboro. Waresboro.
And, what do you call it, TW?
I call it Waresboro, but I've made the mistake of calling it Waresboro to other people, and they say, "Where the hell's that?" I said, "It's about 8 miles west away." "Oh, you mean Wasboro? Okay."
Wasboro.
Yes, that's it. I'm from Wasboro.
It's just the way we talk down here. Waresboro. Matter of fact, that's where I first met you.
Yes, indeed. Spring of 88.
Let's see. Was it 88 that we moved out there?
I believe so.
That's right. Yeah.
They had just, Clough Bay Road used to be a dirt road, and they had begun paving it. They'd laid a layer of tar down, and I was into skateboarding at the time, so I'm skateboarding over that hardened layer of tar, and this woman flags me down. She's like, hey. And she had a little redheaded boy with her.
That was my stepson.
Yeah, I think she thought that she saw me skateboarding down the road and she thought I was a kid from the neighborhood. But I think once she flagged me down and I started coming up, she realized I was like 11 or 12 years old then once I got a little closer. She's like, "Oh, I thought you were a smaller kid. I was looking for someone to play with my son here."
And you did not disappoint.
No.
You became a very good friend.
Yeah, there was, it was, as you know, a little farming community, not a lot of kids. So, befriended Kyle and y'all and got to talking, and she said, "Well, my husband plays music." I mentioned I started playing guitar. Said, "My husband, he plays in a band called the Keepers. He's asleep now because he works at the post office at night." But I remember saying, "Oh, I want to see his guitar. I want to see his guitar."
Were you playing the guitar already?
I just started. I was like that first year or two of playing where I was strangling chords and that kind of thing, just learning how to tune, and I'd learned a few songs by ear, but whenever you kind of learning your own way, learning by ear, and there's like a longer starting period, it seems like, before you can really get traction and start sounding good.
Well, you started before me.
Very young age.
Yeah, I first started playing guitar at 10 probably.
Yeah.
I wanted to play drums, but my parents, I was kind of rambunctious and hyper as a little kid, and they did not want me having a drum set anywhere in that house. So they, "Here, take this guitar we found at a yard sale, do something with it."
Which is odd because that house, there's a beautiful house on the corner of Albany Avenue and Clough Bay Road.
Mm-hmm.
It's oh my God. It's
a Victorian house.
Victorian house. It's got like so many levels on it, and it looks like something out of a gingerbread house.
It's got a very Southern Gothic architecture thing to it.
Beautiful cupolas or whatever you call them, and just a beautiful house. Was it? It was pink. Was it pink when y'all had it?
Well, when we first moved into it, well, first of all, about a year after we moved into it when I was a little kid, before I even started kindergarten, it caught fire. And after the fire, it was painted white, and it was white for many years, till about 88 or 89, and Mom wanted to paint it Monticello Rose, which was pink.
That was it. That was it. I remember it.
And it was that for a
Beautiful
long
house.
time. And then I think the people, after my mom and them moved out, painted it yellow, and I think it's still yellow now.
But it seems like to me that it wouldn't have mattered if you'd had a set of drums in that big old house, because you could have put you in that set of drums at one end of it and not even heard it.
Oh man, that would have been ideal. But my parents were not very supportive of the music playing to start with, so it was yeah. So it wouldn't have mattered where I put the drums. I could have put them 10 miles up the road probably, and still gotten fussed at for it.
Yeah. That was great, though. I mean, I ended up moving out there because my wife then at the time had very bad asthma, and the house that we were living in Waycross had mold spores in it. So we were suggested by doctors, you need to move somewhere. So I can't remember how it happened, but there was a great house right on down from yours that belonged to a Waycross is a big railroad town, and there's a employee of CSX Railroad that lived in that house who had been restationed to Kentucky. Daniels, was that?
Joe Douglas.
Joe Douglas. And so their house was available for rent, and we just zoomed right in. And it was a great house because it was practically brand new. And we ended up living there for a year and a half or so and got to meet you.
Yeah.
And you were a great, it was almost like a friend / babysitter for Kyle, because he weren't but about
he was probably maybe 3 or 4
five,
at the time.
3, 4, 5, somewhere around there.
I don't think he.
Let's see, he would have been born in '84, and if we'd have moved out there in '88,
Maybe right at 4.
yeah, and the fact that you dug music, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Ted Nugent, that was your big. I remember that was one of the first things we talked about.
Yeah, my brother is a big rock music fan, and he saw me taking an interest in guitar and stuff like that. He's like,
Tony?
Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
He comes from the Ted Nugent, Sammy Hagar, Triumph kind of school of hard rock, and so anyway, he let me hear some Ted Nugent records one day, and I was just amazed by the guitar playing. I was like, oh, I'd like to pursue something like that. And anyway, I was all obsessed about Ted for a long time, and Deep Purple. I started going back, getting into a lot of 70s hard rock back then, and as well as the 80s hard rock I was listening to at the time.
So let's see, how old were you, say, in '88 then?
88, I was 12 years old.
12. Okay.
Depending on if it was before or after June 25th.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly when we moved out there, but that was good. I think we got a picture of a birthday party that you were at under our carport for my daughter Megan.
Oh, wow.
It was a picture of you, Megan, Kyle, Graham, Laura.
Oh, wow.
And,
I remember that party,
my
too.
My mother was in the picture. Yeah, it was one of those carport birthday parties. And bunch of young kids. There it is. You're standing in the blue shirt.
Yeah. Oh, man, to be that slim again, huh?
Look at that. And there's Graham
Yep.
sitting to your left.
I see Megan.
Megan with the big smile there. Laura next to Graham, next to you.
Yep.
And Kyle is in the first desk right there.
He's
I
rocking
remember
some
we got
chucks.
those desks. There was a guy at the post office that had Wallace Anderson,
Mm-hmm.
He had all these desks, and he would paint them or whatever,
Right.
and customize them for your child. And we ended up with quite a few of them.
Who's the lady?
That's my mama,
That's your mama.
my dear sweet mama.
I don't think I've ever seen a picture of your mom.
Yeah, she was a wonderful, wonderful, beautiful person.
And there's a whole lot of 1988 going on there.
That's 1988, isn't it? Yeah. And I'm probably on this side of the camera. Lord, have mercy.
You know what? I'm sitting here looking at it. It's just crazy to think how it wasn't that far back, and it was at the same time.
Yeah, time has a way of doing that. It's very.
You can recall it. I mean,
Yeah.
especially with like something like this. Where you
Yeah, I mean, it's just seeing the picture pulled up the whole memory of it. Especially like with the ponds out there, I can remember the mosquitoes and hearing the frogs and crickets and all singing
And now
smelling the tobacco from the.
You live in a trailer right across the street from this house, right?
Right, yeah. There was a piece of land that my parents used to rent. My brother and his wife at the time had a mobile home set up there, and after they moved out, my parents just kept renting the land to whoever wanted to put a mobile home out there and charge them lot rent. And anyway, we about the time I was getting ready to move out and start doing things on my own, there just happened to be a woman who had left a trailer out there. It was about to get repoed, and I had some money saved up, so I jumped on it and chilled in Waresboro for about 20 years in a sweet double-wide manufactured mansion.
and you had a studio
Yes.
in there, and
203D sounds. That's just piled up all my drums and guitars and amps and a little 4-track recorder in the back there, and recording songs as I wrote them, kind of.
4 tracks.
Yes, sir. 4-track cassette.
Yeah. That's what the Beatles recorded Sgt. Pepper on, was a 4-track.
I've always heard that. It's hard to imagine
It's
what you
hard
listen
to
to
imagine
because I mean,
that.
just as broad as that album
But,
is.
there was a lot of ping-ponging going on. And I'm sure you...
bigger tape too, though, right? Not like
Probably
Right.
1/4 inch. They probably had like 1
Yeah.
inch or 2 inch tape,
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
you
Probably.
couldn't do that.
Probably
with cassette.
so.
It'd be,
You could like bounce down one time and that was it.
you're going to start losing
And
quality.
I'm about to say, you lost a good bit of quality just doing that.
You always
but-
heard increasing...
Yep. The old snakes in the tape.
But man, you always impressed me of just turning out music out of your home and like doing the art on the covers and writing everything and performing everything.
Yeah.
Man,
cool. Thanks.
I was like,
That's just a handful. That's not all of them, is it?
no.
Is the other ones over there?
Yeah, he brought
That or there might be in there on the table. still.
Oh my God! Yeah, I mean, just one after another.
That's that whole punk rock ethos. All those bands, they were all did it themselves. They made the albums themselves, promoted their own shows, and I was like, oh, I can do that. I'm going to promote myself, I guess.
So what was the first real band I like this, the first band that you was in?
Let's see. All right. Not counting just a couple of kids hanging out calling it a band, right? Actual people
Yeah,
that played music.
Sure
and-
enough, getting down to it.
Well, probably my first real band was back when I was a teenager, a Christian punk band I had formed at my church called Terminal Attitude.
Terminal
Yes.
Attitude.
It was me, Barry Rollerson, and Eddie Walker. And we would sneak into the church late at night. They had like a mixing board hooked up to a cassette deck, and we'd bang out some 3-chord punk tunes with Christian lyrics to it. And we didn't play in front of the church too much. I don't think the congregation was into it at the time.
Might not have been supportive.
It might not have been. So
What church was that?
this was Bible Heritage. They're on Albany Avenue, just up from the Farm Bureau there,
Okay, I remember that.
corner of Columbus and Albany.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the first band. We played a couple of talent shows and things like that. That was my first real stage time kind of band.
Yeah.
And then I went to playing in honky tonks after that.
Okay.
The next band was a cover band called Eruption with Lauren McDaniel, Bill Lee, and a bass player named Jesse Heron, who I met for the first time.
There we go. starting to tie in now. What? So that would have been.
This would have been 93, 94 here probably.
93, 94.
Early 90s, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
What, what genre of songs did y'all do?
Eruption? Oh, it was just Southern and classic rock. It was barroom kind of stuff, Trashy
Covers?
Women, covers. Rolling Stones, Miss You, a lot of Bad Company, a lot of Grand Funk.
Cool.
And one day we were getting scolded by some of the other band members about not performing just like they did on the album or whatever. And I turned to Jesse. I said, "Man, this sucks. You want to start writing our own stuff? We can do better than this." And he got to, I think we should do that. And so we kind of started our own little mutiny, and me and him broke loose. And I had some songs, and he had some songs, and just kind of put them together. And that was the early stages of the Distant era, I guess you could say.
Distant. We got one of them. Play a little
I think Kamikaze Blonde was on the
portion of the band Distant.
And y'all recorded
Yes,
this.
I think it's highlighted there, the Kamikaze Blonde.
Recorded this.
Yeah, so Billy right here recorded this.
Nothing. I feel nothing. My back is pressed to the ground. And I'm too much of a mess to
We were hearing it again.
That's okay. 'Cause you wouldn't understand anyway. I can see you.
Got you singing?
I can feel
Singing and playing guitar.
yet you're still not close enough.
During the Nirvana era, you can tell, no doubt.
Can't touch you.
Jason Lee on drums.
Jason Lee on drum, yeah.
Oh my God! This ties it all together.
That's just not enough for me.
Me and Jason were 18. I think Jesse was 15.
Yeah. I would come over there while y'all were practicing and stuff.
Yeah. That was the beginnings.
Gazing into your eyes now. I've prepared a snatch soul. Gouging out your eyes now. You no longer have control of me.
It's tough being punk inspired in South Georgia.
So
Good.
you were about 18,
Yes.
and Jesse was about 50. Jesse Heron, bass player,
Mm-hmm.
and
Jason Lee drumming. I met Jason in junior high. We were both in band together, actually.
yeah.
I've been in bands with both of them too. So.
Yep.
Who was the Kamikaze Blonde? Was she a student?
It was probably some girl I had a math class with or something. It was. I wrote songs in class instead of doing work, and that's how I got 6 yearbooks.
That's how I got 6 yearbooks.
I like cracking that joke on folks. I just tell them I have a master's degree in high school, and then let it go at that. Yeah, and that was
That was
94, 95 right there probably.
Yeah.
And practiced a lot, didn't play a whole lot of gigs. It was kind of hard to market that kind of music to your average bar and nightclub and bistro. So we did play some young folks parties, some of the famous John Duke parties, if y'all remember those.
I remember that. I was there.
Yeah.
John Duke.
Yeah.
And if y'all remember the late, great Ricky Strickland, played a party at his place out by the
Yeah,
airport one
Ricky
time in
Strickland,
'95, and a few other places here and there. But we changed after this. We I don't know what happened. I think we got older and more angrier or something, and we morphed into 12 Gauge Enema and got a little bit heavier sound.
That's one of the classic band names of all time.
When we
right
had
there.
Jason Lee on, he was talking about
I
how that
remember
was
he-
the
yeah.
worst band name he'd ever had.
It was. I kind of halfway came up with it as a joke. It's like, hey man, what y'all think of 12 Gauge Enema? I was just throwing it out there to see if May would laugh at it, and I could see wheels starting to turn. They're like, wait a minute, that might get some attention. Like, yeah, it may get the wrong kind. But
we won't get many gigs, but
yeah. Oh, they were the few gigs we got. They listed us as 12 GE. I guess people thought we were a light bulb, maybe.
That's funny.
so you got a 12 Gauge Enema cut there.
I think
Buddy.
that's it right there.
What changed besides the name?
The music got a little more angrier and heavier. Like we were just
More metal?
most of the distant stuff was wrote before Jason came into the picture. Me and Jesse wrote it, and we got lucky and got Jason to come in and play drums for us. And after he got in the band a little bit, and we all started gelling and feeding off each other's energy. As y'all know, he's a rocker, and I like heavy stuff too. So we were able to connect on that level, and just started bringing some heavier stuff, like some of the more Pantera meets Jesus Lizard meets Clutch, that kind of stuff.
Cool.
You know, just the kind of heavier late '90s stuff.
I mean, I knew it was heavier. I just wanted to see what you would say.
Yeah, we were just bringing the heavier groove. Was all.
I like it already.
I did more screaming than singing, so I can't
Same
do that anymore.
personnel in this band.
Yeah, it's 3-piece. It is a bass heavy mix. I don't know how that happened.
Did Jesse record this or Billy Ray?
No, Crawford Perkins did actually.
Who?
Crawford Perkins over in Brunswick.
Really?
We've had him on.
He had a studio behind his house in a little portable shed.
Okay.
We recorded it in that.
Okay, I have to bring this up to him.
Man, it's so big. The sound.
Well, we were definitely into the power trios like Nirvana and ZZ Top and Cream and James Gang and stuff. So, and some group called Rush.
Yeah.
Why can't I inquire about you? Why did you son of me? But we up this ride, that's why. Lord, what should I pray? Before we stood, how I drove the killer road. Damn you little tablets, you've ruined everything by doing nothing. The way you take yourself to kid. Now what was I talking about?
Hadn't heard this one in forever either.
You got a pretty extensive body of work there. When you look at it all,
I guess so. It's all went by so quick, I don't even realize it. I thought I just recorded this 2 months ago, but it was 25 years ago.
early 90s translate into 30 years gone.
It does. Scary. There's a weird edit coming up here.
The edit.
Something happened when we were punching in the lead. I don't know what happened, but
I'd have never known.
Water watching from the hill.
Do you remember what amp you were playing at that time?
Yeah, actually, I as far as recording with it, Crawford had this Trace Elliott half stack. It was a guitar tube amp, and had a great sound in it. But I still use my pedal board. I played my Rickenbacker through a rat into that Trace Elliott half stack, and it got that roaring, kind of woofy, real subby sound. It's like, man, I like that. Can I take this one home with me? But other than that, though, I played like a Fender Pro 185 or either a Marshall Valve State. I split between the two, or sometimes I'd run both of them together, depending on how loud we were feeling that night.
Yeah.
Jason, he's a good volume drummer, and Jesse always had a big amp back then, so I had to kind of beef up my sound, and there were days where after practice where our ears would ring for 4 or 5 days straight. And nowadays I can hear, but it sounds like the tone knob's turned way down on stuff. Everything's kind of muffled. I don't know if y'all have that or
Yeah.
I've heard some folks talk about the tinnitus, the ringing in the ears at night, but I don't have that. It's just the tone knob turned down. I have to watch when I mix stuff that I don't put too much treble in it.
Yeah.
All right, so that's 12 gauge Enema.
Yeah.
Then what happened?
Well, actually, I don't know if you remember this or not, Sean. We played a gig, and I'm trying to think what band you were in. It was like a birthday party / New Year's Eve for you around 97 or 98. Played it at the Exchange Club out there. And
The Exchange Club.
yeah, out by the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
But inside the middle building, not where they have everything else.
What? It was my birthday party.
Right. It was a birthday party / gig thing. It was us.
Yeah,
and
it was a
couple
surprise birthday party. I had nothing.
Okay.
I didn't know nothing about.
I remember
that happening.
In the Exchange Club?
I mean, I knew it when it was happening.
Yeah.
But they're like, they told me they were going to. We're going to my grandparents to eat birthday cake,
Yeah.
and this is my 22nd birthday, I think.
Yeah, it'd be about right.
And they're like, we got to come in
98,
here and move an ice box because my papa had Clark's ice or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, what a damn birthday. Going to my grandparents, but we can't make it there because we got to move some heavy shit first. So we go in there, and it's just like,
The Exchange Club?
I was so in shock, I was clapping with
Where was
everybody
all the
else. I
cars
was like,
at?
what's going on? Huh?
Did they have the cars hidden?
Yeah, I guess. I don't.
I think we did have to park him back. I remember unloading through the back door.
And so you
I
just,
know I was totally caught off guard.
you just
I didn't
came
know.
up there to the front of the Exchange Club, no
Yeah.
cars around.
Came in
you.
through the front, and you know that little foyer area, and then
Yeah.
went into the big part, and it was like, y'all, was that you that kicked off?
I think so. I can't remember who else was playing the bill with us.
Wasn't Rick Bennett playing up there too?
I think so, man. I wish I had a flyer from that night. I remember it was us and a couple of other bands, and
That's probably the coolest thing my parents ever did, because
Your
they got
parents did that?
they
that
did
for
that, and they got everybody together, and they had a keg of beer, and I was like, what? Who are y'all?
hey, what is going on here?
you? What birthday would that been for you?
22nd?
22?
So I'm not good with math, but
So that was
I'm
December.
46 now.
December of 98.
It was like the 97 going into 98 year, so that'd be
Okay.
about right.
It may be, it was, my birthday is Christmas Eve, so it may not have been on my birthday. But I knew that, we were supposed to go to eat cake or something, and that was going to be my birthday.
Yeah.
And then it was
What,
like, bam, party.
Was that 12 gauge Enema?
Yeah, we played a show that night, and everything went good. And for some reason, we never got back together after that. And there was no breakup or no harsh words or anything. I think I know one thing. I think Jason's second child was on the way, and I had lost my job in construction, and I had to like kind of find a real job, cut my hair, and do all that kind of stuff. And I got on out at Walmart Distribution Center eventually. And so, I mean, I think it was just one of those things where the ebb and flow of life just kind of washed us apart
Yeah.
and all like that. Of course, I think Jesse and you picked up with, was it Gravy at that point? Or
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Was that right after that?
It was
Well,
around
it's
this time. I remember
98,
Gravy being in the late 90s.
Yeah.
If that was in 97, then 98
Yeah,
was
98.
Graham Parsons' first.
Yeah.
Get
So I
together.
guess that was right.
I think
after.
maybe Will Thrift might have started playing around at that time. Or,
Yeah,
Yeah,
first we were with
was.
Will, me and Will got together, and then we brought in Jonathan Gibson,
Yep.
and I guess probably Graham was always part of it. Mm-hmm. And then when Jonathan left, and we're already recording our album with Jesse.
Yeah.
And then when Jonathan left, Jesse stepped in.
Okay.
Or maybe it was the other way around. I mean, maybe Jesse was there in the beginning. That's what it was. But we weren't called Gravy yet. We were like
Okay.
fishing around with names.
Right.
And Jody was playing drums.
Okay.
And then things started changing. And anyway.
Yeah. So it was around that time.
Mm-hmm.
So where does okay, this would be 98. It's still about 5 more years before the honky and Hayshaker thing started happening. So
Yeah.
after 12 gauge enema,
Yeah.
You started doing the SSV stuff then, didn't you?
Yeah.
which stands for
Summer School Valedictorian when I first came up
Which
with
is an
it.
awesome.
Because that was pretty much me, man. I spent more time in summer school than I did regular school.
Was this like solo stuff?
Yes. It was me.
Just you
Yeah,
doing
it was
all the
songwriting
instruments?
stuff. Yeah, I'd always
Okay.
who was it? Not Aldo Nova, but somebody like that played all the instruments and wrote all the songs on their albums. I always had a fascination with
Trent
doing that.
Reznor?
Could have been, yeah.
Did he do that?
I'm sure he probably did. He's definitely talented enough to do that. I think he did that for the Downward Spiral for sure. He
Yeah.
might have had some guest folks on it, but that's what I wanted to do because I wanted to do all kinds of stuff. I wanted to do rock. I wanted to do country. I wanted to do punk. I wanted to do folk. I wanted to
And you could do that with under that
right. Yeah, I was
umbrella.
I had a blank canvas as far as I was concerned. I could put whatever I wanted to on it, and I had a job working second shift out at Walmart Distribution Center, so I'd get home at like 11, 12 o'clock at night, and there was nothing to do, but I'd get back there in the studio in that trailer at Waresboro and just start writing songs, let the 4-track roll, and keep drinking and see what happens.
That's the beauty of it. I
The
used to
4-track
love that.
roll.
Yeah.
I had a Kai 4-track reel to reel
Oh, yeah.
that I bought in '76, and I used to do the same thing. Of course, I would just write songs and demo them down on that 4-track, but it was not an album type thing, product thing. It was just like songs,
Right. Kind of rough
continuous
drafts
songs, demos of continuous songs, and to this day, it's just like tape after tape after tape of a chronological my songwriting through the years. But yours were broke down into specific albums, which the SSV you had like 7
Yeah, they.
distinct albums there.
I had a period of time there. Everything was just coming to me quick, and I guess being by myself late at night like that, everything just kind of flowed out a little easier. And of course, I didn't have anybody there to say, "No, don't do that. That's a terrible idea. That sounds like shit. You should quit while you're behind."
Thank God.
And I love those albums.
But I was influenced by a lot of. Thank you, by the way. I was influenced by a lot of lo-fi stuff that was recorded on 4-track, a lot of Guided by Voices and, Pavement and Built to Spill and all, stuff like that. It was already lo-fi. So I was matching art with my influences as far as that went. So it's like, oh, it's staticky as hell, but sounds good. Box it, ship it, and sell it because I'm buying it.
That lo-fi thing was a
movement.
part of the art, about it. And I love
It really
those
did add
bands like that.
something to it. It was like, the quality of it kind of just took you back in time a little bit or something.
I love that kind of stuff.
Play us just a smidgen. Not that you don't have to do the whole song, but just play us just a smidgen of SSV.
Yeah, that's
The
where it all started, right here.
first track of SSV. The first
That's enough.
SSV album.
That's enough. Yeah, man, I love this one.
Thank you. Sounds like an old '60s recording almost, doesn't it?
Yeah. And
I'm a flashback.
thing about it is you're doing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're playing the drums and everything.
Vocals, bass, everything was done through a guitar amp. Fender Pro 185.
I am a flashback.
I even had the snare going through the guitar amp just to get some reverb out of it.
Awesome.
And later on in that song, there's beer burps and other things because I drink a few beers. You know, you drink a beer, you lay down the drums. You drink a beer, you lay down the guitar.
It sounded like there was one right at the beginning there, or there was something.
That was something else going on there. There was a lighter and a water apparatus.
Okay.
You listen carefully, you can hear the bubbling.
It was a bong song.
That's it. So that's a look into those late night jams right there. And I did a few albums like that on 4-track and kind of hammered out my songwriting a little bit.
So play, then jump, fast forward to 5 SSB albums later.
Oh yeah,
Track
that would
5.
be- let me see.
SSV6.
SSB6.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you had it.
V6.
This was the first digital album. I did this on a Fostex 16-track digital here.
I will always look the same.
Got a crisper sound.
Misinformation
Crisp.
I could
Layered everything. Yeah, I could go crazy with guitars and vocals. Oh, and Jesse Heron is playing bass on this, by the way. He did a little session for me there. Because there's no way I could play bass that smooth.
living away empty patterns.
There's that 90s indie,
Yeah.
for sure, indie sound.
Mass consumption of love.
I definitely was into catchy songs at the time, which I always have been. I've always liked poppy, catchy stuff, no secret.
Your resume claims to sharpen your craft. One rounded tonight fit should make up for this one clever hit. I will
This song will be over with pretty quick.
always do the same.
You can hear the bathroom door closing at the end.
I will always get paid the same, no matter what tools I obtain.
Now you said that SSB was a umbrella that you could do many different things stylistically,
Right, yes.
including country.
Yes.
So would that happen on among other styles on one album, or was it like a whole album
Oh, no, it would.
devoted to nothing but country?
No, I always liked albums that were all over the place. I always like to do an album that you got a rock album this
Yeah.
track, the next one you got something mellow, the next one
Right.
you got something kind of down home. Maybe
I
you
like
got
it
something
like that,
weird with
too.
keyboards and kind of modern after that. And that's what I did. I went nuts with the styles and all the different genres because I've always liked different kinds of music. So got to let all that out somehow.
That was my idea about behind Strange Bird, was having just all these different sounds.
Oh yeah, you're good. That's the bathroom door closing after I did the vocals there.
The old bathroom reverb.
Yeah, there's nothing like it. In fact, that old bathroom at the trailer in Waresboro, I have recorded a mini vocal and guitar track in there. I would lug my guitar amp in there and put a big condenser mic in there. And something about those fiberglass shower stalls, they get like a good slap back to them. You already put that in the processor.
Yeah. Don't nobody flush the toilet by mistake. 'Cause it'll all go down the toilet.
Oh, man.
So, where did your love of country music come from?
Well, I did get a little bit of it coming up. My parents, my mom and stepdad, they were country music fans. My mom liked Alabama and Ronnie Millsap. And my stepdad was a big Willie Nelson and George Jones fan, so I got a good bit of the old school stuff coming up. And if you remember, there was a resurgence of country in the 80s with the revival stuff like Randy Travis and George Strait. So country radio was real big.
Dwight Yoakam.
Yeah, Dwight Yoakam. Oh, yes,
Big time.
the savior himself there. So, I got a little bit of that coming up. Of course, I always decided rock was my thing. I love the rock music. But probably whenever I was getting out of high school in the 90s, I discovered Graham Parsons and Neil Young's Harvest album and some old stuff by the Byrds and the Burrito Brothers. And I was like, okay. And then also about that time, Uncle Tupelo had just split up into Wilco and Son of Old. So I got some more country exposure there. And it just kind of, and then I went back and got into everybody from George Jones to Waylon Jennings to Buck Owens, and just went crazy with the stuff from there. So it's I always said SSV, born to rock but raised in the country.
But I think all the rock guys, rock boys, like, I mean, I come up on rock too, and eventually you listen to that rock album that's got, what is this? They got a country style song on there, and then you're like, well, maybe this isn't so bad. And like open your mind
there's
a
something
little.
that kind of weans you into it almost.
Rock, it's a gateway drug. for
Well,
country.
always has been, and I still can't get enough of it. So yeah, man, and that's one thing that always appealed to me about Graham Parsons is one of the first albums I got of his was the Grievous Angel album, and just the way he mixed that good, clean, sparkly jangle rock with this real pure form of country. I'm like, man, that's my jam right there. I like that. Finding one of his records was a great discovery.
Yeah, he was following in the footsteps of Merle Haggard and Buck Owens. George Jones.
Did you get turned on to Graham by Jesse, through Jesse and his dad?
In a way, yeah. Y'all probably remember the famous studio back there. It was our practice place at the time. As y'all know, Billy Ray had the Sin City Records, and he had a few records in that building from his store still. And I've always had a record player. I've never went all cassette or all CD. And anyway, I told Jesse, let's see what kind of records they got in there. And we went through them, and man, got that Graham Parsons. I got Pink Floyd Animal. I got Led Zeppelin, Houses of the Holy. I got a Status Quo record, and I found Sweethearts of the Rodeo, but Ray made me give that one back.
Yeah.
But and just some other all kinds of good music like that, and so it was because of Jesse, but it's not. I guess hearing about it and then finding that record there that was up for grabs and taking it home and listening to it on my own terms and all like that just really kind of helped me grow with it.
An important discovery.
Yes, it was.
Really
and it was
was.
during what I call the country revival of the spring of '96. I discovered that album and Neil Young's Harvest, and I had been listening to a lot of John Fogerty stuff via CCR and his solo stuff, which has the country rock flavor. So I was kind of getting primed up and getting ready for it.
That's about the time that I started getting into it too. What was up with that?
Well, it's one thing about it is I guess the little alternative grunge wave was starting to wane a little bit, and I think record companies were maybe trying to push something with a little different flavor.
Maybe it had something to do with the Unplugged series and and stuff being more acoustic, and then that
I wouldn't doubt that a bit.
Like a wave rolling.
So what was y'all's age at that time?
I was between 18 and 20, depending on what exact year we're talking about.
That's a very
depending on which reality we're in.
Yeah.
formative years.
It really was.
That's where you're really reaching out and grabbing hold or welcoming new stuff.
I really was, because I also went through a Mississippi Delta blues phase that year. I got really into Muddy Waters and John Lee Hooker and cats like that. And
I think it's just with me, like we were listening to the newest rock or whatever, and then in those next years going to the roots of that,
Yes.
which were landed in country
you
and
talking
blues.
about Wilco and Sunvolt? Wasn't that about the same timing too?
Yeah, they both came from
Was
Uncle
right,
Tupelo. And it was-
right in there.
I think they split up in about 93, 94 maybe, and
Well, Uncle Tupelo was more rootsy than what they ended up
Yeah.
being. They actually got
They actually
more
went
rock.
Did y'all listen to them in '93, or did you discover them in '98, or was it?
I didn't listen to either band till probably 97 or 98.
Okay, so it was.
But
I
you-
remember discovering. I got into Wilco first. The album AM just came out there in like late '95, early '96.
Okay.
I think that's on Passenger Side.
I had to backtrack to that. I came in on Summer Teeth and had to go
Yeah.
backwards.
And then once I got that one, I found out, they came from Uncle Tupelo. And then that's when I went and got Anodyne and fell in love. I still love that album.
Yeah.
And then I heard, Jay Farrar, he's got Sunvolt over here. So then I got Straightaways, and
Yeah.
I just tried to follow it all from there.
Well, stuff like that, I guess, kind of could have happened to me in my musical enlightenment period. You know, because I was going along one path, then all of a sudden you hit something, and it takes you down another road that goes backwards. You know.
Yeah.
Of course, starting off with Hank Sr., it was as a 3-year-old, that was my daddy's
You were
music.
starting where
I started, but I also went away from it.
the end,
you know?
the end of our or mine
Yeah.
tale was like the
It's so
beginning. And
funny,
you're like,
isn't
how
it?
you do
It's
that?
how do you do that? But the stuff that I was picking up on was current. It wasn't like, it was kind of like y'all, it was Wilco and stuff. But Neil Young, Harvest,
Yeah.
boom, it was right there in
Yeah.
front of us. And it was like, okay, wait a minute. Then you pick up Neil Young, and that's an extension of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. And then it's like, okay, wait a minute. Crosby was Byrds, Stills and Young was Buffalo Springfield. You know, Nash was the Hollies.
Yep.
And then you start going backwards again a little bit, you know. So I guess that holds true for any generation.
Oh, yeah.
But y'all always impress the hell out of me is how y'all would really go back and dig, like you're talking about the blues and Muddy Waters and everything. I didn't have that with me and that Burnside, R.L. Burnside that y'all got
T-Model
into.
Ford.
Oh yeah, Junior Kimbrough.
And,
Yeah.
That was some good stuff. It was Fat Possum.
Fat Possum Records.
Fat Possum Records brought it all to the surface. It was like, whoa, this is some real shit.
What was the name of the
Seems-
records?
Fat Possum Records.
Fat Possum.
Yeah, that's a label. And it seemed like I liked blues before then, but
Yeah.
it seemed blues in that era before that was so polished and
Oh, yeah, like the Chicago Blues with
and
the
it
big
was just
bands
like-
backing
it
them
was
up.
boring. And
You wanted the rawer stuff.
and then you'd hear, the older stuff that's was like Muddy Waters and
So Robert Johnson
Freddie
Records.
King and Robert Johnson. But then Fat Possum was like, oh, this is like the old, but it's like gritty as hell.
Yeah.
Man, it was good stuff.
Yeah, that's good stuff there.
And about that time, I happened to be lucky enough to have an attorney friend that I befriended by teaching him guitar.
Yeah.
Scott Crowley
Yeah.
said, "Hey, I'm going to open a record store. You want to run it?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah!" And then we're ordering all those Fat Possum records, and
That's the first time I
Whatever.
ever heard of the North Mississippi All Stars was in that record store and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
the first time I heard of a lot of things was because of that record store.
Yeah, that was a
What
cool
was it
place,
called
man.
first? Velvet?
Velvet Groove Salon.
And then it became Planet,
Planet
Groove.
Groove.
Okay, so Velvet Groove was the one over there
Next to KD's.
where I
to
lost my
KD's.
guitar.
Yep,
Okay.
that's where it happened.
That story still hurts.
Stings.
Yeah, it hurts.
And it was like, what pisses me off about the whole story is I'm always going to be at whatever hangout till the end. I'm going to go home with the last people. And this is my store. And I was
we were there till the end, but we
we were
locked
all
the door though.
And I locked the door, and we were all
then
standing.
I turned around and leaned my guitar up, so it was all on me. It wasn't you.
But we were all standing there,
Yeah, with our backs to the guitar.
talking, and I said, "I got to go," and I left y'all there.
Yeah, and we all drifted off in
But if
different-
I wouldn't have done that, I would have been like, "Well, your guitar, dude."
Yeah, that's it. Don't beat yourself up over it.
I mean, I don't, but I'm just saying.
Man.
I always.
I mean, that's still
Every time I hear
You
the
don't
story,
beat yourself up over it? Damn.
but
Dang, dog be cold, Joe.
but every time I think about that, I'm like, I think about my decision to just go ahead and leave. It was you and Mike Johnson were talking, and neither one of y'all was close to being finished. And I was like,
we solved the world's problems that night and made a big problem for myself.
I think
the
mine's
funny
got
thing
your
was
guitar.
the next day. I was working for Crosstown Music, which was just around the corner from Velvet Groove, and you called Crosstown about 2:00 that afternoon and said, "Hey, just want to let you know I'm fixing to come around there and buy some strings. Just don't go to lunch or anything." And I said, "Come on." Oh, by the way, how about bringing me my guitar? I left it laying inside your shop last night. Remember, I said all that.
and I said, "You did."
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
And 30 minutes went by, and I thought, "Damn, he's taking a while to come get his strings and bring me my guitar." And then the phone rang again. It was you again, and you were so nervous on the phone. You was like, I can't find your guitar. Are you sure? And right when you
Words
said
that
that,
hurt to hear.
right when you said that, my mind went straight back to me leaning it up against the outside display window, and I said, "Never mind. Don't worry."
I wonder
about
where
it."
that thing ended up because that's been.
You
so
wonder
long.
about that.
It was such a nice guitar, Takamine.
Well, you think about it. Somebody walking the streets or riding the streets at about 3, 4, 5 in the morning.
They're not going to be like just average. Is not going
Just gonna be
They're not
driving
going to be
down
a
the road.
musician. They're going to be like,
Or
"There's a damn
walking
guitar. Let's
the
take it
streets.
and sell it."
and grabbing it.
But I wonder if it ended up in some good hands or if it just got
You know,
thrown by the
my
way.
I think
hope,
Tyrone Bigums came by and saw us there. Oh, Lord.
my hope is that somebody got it that could do something with it, because it sure did good by me. The years that I had it, I wrote a ton of songs on that thing. And
that's a better story than how I lost my Martin.
Y'all are hurting me with these guitar stories.
Let's take a break and come back and
yeah,
have some
we'll
live
we'll be
SSV.
talking
Oh,
some
Lord.
more and have some live music and just general stuff that you've come to know on Something in the Water. We'll be right back.
Something in my brain won't let me stray. Something in my veins gonna find its way. Something in the water taught me how to pray. When that cold black water finds its way into your veins, you'll never be the same.
Welcome on back to Something in the Water podcast. Thank y'all for being here with us this time. Our guest, T.W. Lott. We're fixing to hear, this is, what's the name of this song, bud?
This song is called Gift from Heaven. It's on a newer album I'm trying to finish up. The album's going to be called Inland Accents. If I get around to finishing it up.
Accents. And it's still SSV.
This is SSV, yeah.
Summer School Valedictorian.
This is the collection of love songs I wrote moving away from Waresboro. This was kind of saying goodbye to the Waresboro era, if you will.
Cool.
All right.
Anyway, yes.
Here we go, folks.
A gift from heaven, the uppies pay big bucks for, and your discount is figured in before you open the door. And the women are there to greet you with pale ale and quail as the men pull up the anchors, the westward winds prevail. A gift from heaven, the uppies pay big bucks for, consuming acres and hungering for more, never going home and never asking why, just accept the roll of drone and then one day you die.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
So SSV lives on.
Yes, he does.
And
Think he's
that,
never finished that last album.
That's like SSV number 9 out of all the SSVs.
It probably will be, yeah.
Yeah. Now, you said this is the end of a Waresboro era. Are you still living out there? Or you,
No, me and Amanda got a house in town here in Cherokee Heights.
Is that
about
right?
3 or 4 years ago, yeah. If not too terribly
Well,
far
hell,
from here.
did I not know that?
Yeah. And anyway, I have people living very close to me, so it's hard to say.
3 or 4 years now.
Yeah, it's really flew by.
Dang.
It might even be closer to 5. I don't.
Wow.
don't
I didn't
care
know
to
that
think
either.
about it. Yeah, I barely know it.
We're
Well-
neighbors.
Yeah.
We won't put your address out there, but when we get off the mic here,
We'll show the
tell
street
us where
view.
you're at so we can come over.
It's not too far from here. It's within
All right.
stumbling distance. We'll say that.
We'll show the street view so everybody, you know.
Go ahead. People already throw pizza crust and fireworks in our driveway. Might as well have some more hootenannies going on.
Well, tell me this now: the Victorian house that you grew up in, that we were talking about, first part of the podcast, that ended up didn't that end up being bought by some kind of a holistic
Yes, it was. I'm trying to think of the name of the company.
or
It was,
psychic or something?
it was bought by some people that had a. Let's see, how can we say it? It was holistic medicine / colon cleansing / wellness retreat / whatever you could write off. I guess
Yeah.
they put up little guest houses out there in the field.
and you were still living behind.
Yes, they wanted
that.
out.
You were
Right.
living behind that. at
Oh
the
yeah,
time.
they
Okay.
made offers on our property. They were all pitiful and said, "Well, if you won't move, we're going to put up a fence around you." I said, "Well, y'all don't work too hard then." So they put up a fence around us. But come to find out, they were there. Let's say under not the most legal of terms, shall we say? And
Yeah.
next thing I know, me and Amanda get up one morning and they're hauling off hot water heaters and hauling off guest houses and hauling off sections of fence and hauling off all kinds of stuff. So
Who was hauling them off? The owners or
the owners or whoever
somebody?
they had working for them, I think they hired a big crew to come in there. Like, listen, things are fixing to get legal come Monday morning. Y'all help us get out of here.
So they never included in their trying to buy you out. They never included a free colon cleanse.
No, they didn't. Hey, look here. Let me tell you something. That house always had plumbing problems. That wasn't the place to do colon cleansing.
Speaking of plumbing problems, how's your bidet?
So,
Well,
So they were nice. They took the fence back down when they left. So took it with them. In fact,
you two were in a band together.
we were.
yes.
What hell? You'll have to help me out on the years here. It's probably 2007
7 through 8 or 9.
7, somewhere around there.
Yeah. I remember you played bass with us whenever we were.
I was playing bass and on the road with y'all. Chris Ryder, Laurie Ryder, had a band called Honky.
which
I
involved
think
in the
that
hay
I
shaker.
began playing bass for, and
Yeah.
then the name changed to a more respectable hay shaker.
Yep.
And we played some road gigs.
Man,
we
I
were
tell
from
you,
Gainesville, Florida to
From Gainesville
Atlanta,
to Nashville.
Georgia.
I mean, we were
Yeah,
pretty much all over the place.
yeah.
I remember I had to take off days from work, so I could do the long weekends and work the Macon, Athens, Atlanta, Nashville circuit.
And I was working for Paul at the time down
Yeah.
at Crosstown Music, so I'll find a part-time somebody to take over while I went on the gig on the weekends, or else just close the store down and go. Mm-hmm. Those were fun times. It was Frank Sykes on drums,
Yeah.
Lee O'Neill on drums. Of course, you played lead guitar, and you're a drummer too. I mean,
Yes.
you played in a lot of bands that,
I've been playing drums about as long as guitar.
yeah, you kind of suffered from the old Ross Peed complex.
What's that?
Couldn't decide whether he was a drummer or a lead guitar player.
They're both so much fun. I mean, the thing about it is there's so many people that play guitar, and they seem like they're all miles better than me. So
You're fine.
I'm barely
man.
capable
You
on
were
drums.
great.
I can fake it as a drummer, to get by for a gig or two, which I love playing drums. I
Well,
played in a
what are
band in
some of those
church.
bands that
Played drums in?
was
Copperhead.
members only?
Yes, I did play drums in an 80s cover band with Frank
80s
Sykes,
cover band.
Jason Chancey, and Buddy Heron, members only. That was a lot of fun. Played drums with Charlie Thornton and Jason and Frank again in Copperhead.
Copperhead South.
Yeah.
Yep.
Had a lot of band, but we stayed busy with that. Also, about the time I was in Hayshaker, I played with Jared Walker, Jamie Stewart, and Josh Sharp in the Shingles, which I couldn't find a CD to bring to represent, but that was a fun little country folk Americana project.
That was a fine band.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with it. It kind of it sort
played
of
drums in that
dissipated
band?
as quick. What's
You
that?
played drums in that band, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The Shingles.
Jared did acoustic guitar, Jamie did bass, Josh Sharp was doing pedal steel, and I did the drums.
That's awesome.
Well,
That was a good-
and
that was a
all
good
of those
album.
bands, well, except for members only, played at either Graham Parsons Guitar Pool or Swamptown Get Down.
Yes. Yeah, one
y'all,
year I did double duty with Hayshaker and the Shingles at the at the Swamp Town. I know it was a Graham Jam.
Graham Jam, yeah.
I think it was the same year that Leon Russell came, if I remember right.
I believe you're right there.
Because I remember they had their equipment set up on stage, and we all had to kind of be careful and stay away from it. It was not to be moved or touched. Or
Yeah.
I was checking out the guitarist's pedal board and see what he had on there, doing that sort of thing.
Yeah. Do you have any kind of a distinct memory of anything that happened with our touring days as Hayshaker? Remember one time we played in a studio,
Yeah.
a TV studio in Atlanta.
Yes. That
And
was
it
kind of a weird
Atlanta?
gig,
It,
wasn't it?
yeah, and it was snowing that night.
Yeah, it started snowing a little bit. We
But
were
what in the hell were we doing up there? Why was it a TV studio, and were we on TV, or was it tape?
it was something to do promotional. I don't know, man. The whole thing was weird. It was like a house party once we got up there.
I
From
can't
what I
even remember
Were
why.
we on TV?
And I remember my bass cord going out on me that night.
Yeah, one of my pedals was acting up too and kept cutting in and out. I remember a young fella from one of the other bands hooked up with a woman that was running the place. They left midway through the show, and everything got chaotic after that. Nobody knew what was going on. And
I don't remember. I do remember this much about it, but we were always chasing some kind of the next big thing.
yeah, there were this.
Breweries,
Oh man, I love
record
Atlanta.
labels. Chris was always promoting
Indeed,
something, and
we
he
played
had-
anywhere and everywhere we could. Anybody that would have us, just about.
Yeah.
I always like playing the Hummingbird. That's just a cool venue, man. That
Hummingbird
old
in
saloon
Macon.
style place.
And then Athens, we played Tasty World.
Oh yeah, played a few Tasty World shows with the hookers and everybody else up there in Athens. That was always a fun time.
Yeah, we always had some fine times.
Yes.
And had an entourage that went with us, too. It seemed
Yes.
like we always had the Hanchy sisters.
I was about to say the Hanchy girls were always in tow. And somebody else was always. I think. Well, maybe not back in these days, but later on, Frog Chris Starlin, he was kind of. He started roadieing with us and teching with us. Mm-hmm. I think that was when Matt Starlin came in and started playing bass. Mm-hmm. Wow, man! You know, it's sitting here talking about it. It doesn't seem like that long ago, but it kind of was in a way.
Yeah, the mid 2000s.
Yes, late 2000s.
Was a good 15 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
Time has a way of getting away from you.
Yeah, and it does not stop.
Just look at me, folks. I was a young man at one time.
And now he's 32.
Right now. And they ask me, what's your secret? And I say, cigarettes and liquor. And they say, how old are you? 32. And speaking of old stories, I got another one coming at you right now. Uncle Dave's Tale of the Week. And this by chance. Happy Halloween to everybody, which was last night. I hope your trick-or-treating went well. Speaking of old, $1 from the Dollar Tree.
Oh man, you got a better deal than I did. Mine cost me $5.
You didn't shop at the Dollar Tree.
No, I will from now on.
Halloween, the one holiday that you could totally be something or somebody besides yourself. I always loved Halloween as a child. With a little mascara, a smidge of lipstick, a Singer sewing machine, and a lot of artistic vision, my mama could manufacture some costume miracles. I have been clowns, hobos, and pirates, but one of the best that mama ever made was her original one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater, inspired by the Sheb Wooley classic that topped the radio charts during the summer of 1958. Y'all remember that song?
Oh yeah.
After a brief respite during my teenage years, my love for Halloween reappeared in a joyous display of masquerade disguise. I won several contests as the Pink Panther. Once again, Mama was amazing with nothing but an old bed sheet, some long johns from Walmart, a couple boxes of pink dye, and cotton to stuff the tail, to which she inserted a wire coat hanger for stiffness and flexibility. Which brings me...
Where's that coat hanger now?
It's the Pink Panther, son. I won some contests with the Pink Panther. Yeah.
There you go.
Yes, sir. Yeah. What's that hanging down in between my legs?
It's a loincloth. I didn't know Pink Panther had,
Oh, that's the tail with the coat hanger in it.
I didn't know Pink Panther had a loincloth.
I was totally digging on that Antigua verse strap.
I didn't know he had a black beard. That was my old strat that I bought from Johnny Logan.
How about that?
And see that chord right there? That is a 9th chord on the 12th fret. So that would be a
I was looking at
E.
the guitar.
Yeah.
E9. I don't know what song we was playing right there. Check the old tuner out there.
I see it. One of those old.
Those
Big
brown box tuners that closed up. That's kind of they used in the band programs. That's a Music Man amplifier.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah. That was at the National Guard Armory. We was playing a Halloween party. I think that was the night we made the most money we ever made at a private gig. We used to put them gigs on ourselves and charge at the door and BYOB, people to roll their ice chests in there, and we'd get down. Which brings me to another prize-winning invention I threw together in about 30 minutes before going down to the Creek Bar and Grill's annual Halloween costume contest. On our way home from the fall festival at Calvary Baptist Church, where we had just taken our young son Connor, Lynn saw the sign and said, "We need to go." So we got home, started rummaging through the closet for a cowgirl outfit for my wife. I quietly sifted through the drawer next to the bedside, finding a big political button that I could pin on the lapel of my jacket. I gave the political button a new background, printed the words "Viagra is for weenies," stuck a dildo out the front of my pants, and strode boldly into the night.
Yes.
$100 later, we were home. And that was the only thing that dildo has ever been used for, before or since.
Yeah.
The most mileage I ever got out of being a character other than me was, God rest his soul, Mr. Thomas Earl Petty. Tom Petty. My daughter Megan, a huge Tom Petty fan, ever since I gifted her his greatest hits CD when she was just 10 years old, constantly admonished me, "Dad, you should be Tom Petty for Halloween. You look just like him." I never listened to her until I came home from work one October day, and there laid out on the bed was a velour top hat and a blonde wig from Walmart, courtesy of my daughter. To that, I added a vintage black frock coat from the late 1800s, a frilly tuck shirt from my down-home band days, and a pair of John Lennon-style sunglasses. The most memorable time I wore it was in October 2006. The Newfanglers, a band consisting of Waycross songwriters and musicians, had written and recorded Blood in the Pines, the story of Hollis Shepherd, a concept album based on a true South Georgia tale of family feuding, wife-beating, ass-whipping, and murder. We were booked to play Friday, October 27th at the Hummingbird Stage and Tap Room in Macon, Georgia. The next night, Unknown Henson was scheduled to perform. Where's Unknown? There he is. So we all stayed an extra night to attend in grand fashion. Stuart Daniel Baker created his alter ego, Unknown Henson, for a Charlotte, North Carolina public access TV program. Unknown Henson, a guitar-slinging, country-singing troubadour looking like a grown-up Eddie Munster, wrote satirical songs about, among other things, trailer park queens, blow-up sex dolls, and hillbilly voyeurs. Although his show is very tongue-in-cheek, he is a master of the guitar. Hired by Billy Bob Thornton to play lead and bass guitar in his band, the Boxmasters, in 2008. Stuart Baker is also famously known for his role as the voice of Early Kyler on the Adult Swim cartoon series Squidbillies. October 28, 2006, found a handful of Newfanglers along with a slew of Waycross characters, all decked out in our best Halloween fashion, dancing, laughing, and singing along with the star of the Hummingbird, Unknown Henson. There was Lindsey Graham Jones, also known as Strawberry Shortcake. Where's them photos?
He already threw that one up there, I think.
Put it back up there. Throw that one back up there. Here we go. There we go. Strawberry Shortcake was Lindsey Grantham Jones. Ryan Crosby as the Beaver.
She was just Lindsey Grantham. They never got married.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah, they were briefly.
Oh, my bad.
That's Lindsey Grantham, but she's married to somebody now. Sarah Rogers, the bee girl. Chris Johnson was Hunter S. Thompson.
Yes.
And Ashley Joyner was the pirate winch. And there at the bottom of the photo is Jesus.
What's so funny about Jesus?
Just your pose. That's the thinker.
The Savior and the Thinker.
That's little Jesus. That's little Jesus.
Little Jesus with sunglasses.
Keeping it real, yo.
And then over to the right, you had Jesus throwing up peace sign. And Ty Manning is Hank Jr. That was back when Ty was drinking.
Yeah.
And that's me as Tom Petty. And Brandon Jones is Sinbad, who looks like Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
And dang, she wasn't in any of the pictures, but Deanna Hanchy was little Dolly Parton that night. When it came time for the costume judging, we all stepped up as Unknown Henson called us out one by one while the audience responded loudly, pushing me, the Beaver, and crack-ass refrigerator repairman into the finalist circle. When he held his hand over Ryan's head and said, "Let's hear it for the squirrel," the crowd exploded. Ryan looked at me with stars in his eyes, and a big beaver grin crossed his face. As happy as I was for that beaver, it was Tom Petty who won first prize that night. A set of fuzzy dice for the rearview mirror and some glow-in-the-dark vampire teeth.
We get it, Dave.
After the contest, we continued drinking and reveling. In the wee hours of the morning, Darren West and I were standing beside the stage. I leaned back to rest my Tom Petty self against what I thought was the stage wall and fell flat on my top hat head through a curtain on the hard stage floor,
Over Unknown Henson's amp.
right on top of Unknown Henson's amplifier. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
We get it, Dave. You Halloween better than the rest of us.
Well, you have to hand it to somebody who
I was Jesus Garcia.
you have to hand it to somebody who can make it dildo magic.
There you go.
What was your Ryan ended up calling you that night was
Big Dick Dave.
Big Dick Dave.
I wish that was true in real life.
Well, we can all pretend on Halloween.
That's exactly the point.
What it's there for, eh?
That's what Halloween is there for. Well, we thank y'all for tuning in once again for Something in the Water. We thank our brother T.W. Lott.
Thank y'all for
being our
having me. This was
guest.
a ton of fun,
Thanks
literally.
for coming
Yeah.
on.
Anytime I
And,
can help y'all out, give me a holler, yo.
What you doing next week?
We'll find out.
I got some stuff that needs to be moved.
Oh, you meant physical labor. I thought you meant hanging out and talking about music. I'm good at that now.
We can do that too. Now we'll get you back for sure.
Yeah, man, holler.
We got plenty more.
Holler
to
at a
talk about.
Caucasian.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
When the cold black water finds its way across through your veins, it just might seal your fate. It just might seal your fate. It just might seal your fate.